Perfect. So this is the committee meeting for the Ogdensburg Bridgeport Authority Child Care Initiative Committee. It's Monday, November 13th, 2023, and I will start the meeting at 5:01 p.m. The first business item today is our project update. Item A is the update on grant funding for the project. So I'll turn it over to Steve.
Yeah, the purpose of this meeting is just, it's been a while and I just wanted to get everybody up to speed on where we're at. And part of that right now, since we last met, the big issue, as always, has been financing and funding, and we've done very well as of late. And you can see on there that when I did this, the CFA grant funding, we applied for 1.9, but we've only been awarded 954,000, which is 20% of the project. The reason for that is the extra, there was supposed to be 40% for anything with childcare, but you had to meet a certain criteria as a charitable organization, and we didn't quite understand that. So we were only allowed 20%. So that number has been reduced down to 954,000, which we're still thankful for. As you all know, we got a $2.1 million grant from USDA through Senator Gillibrand and Senator Schumer's office. That is secured. And then late August, it was announced that we got an NBRC Catalyst grant for $1 million. So if you can take if you look at our, we're roughly at 4,054,000, and to bring us up to our budget, there's a remaining funding balance that we'll have to come up with is roughly about 716,000. With that and being so close, the other part of this is I sent out a draft copy of an RFQ for engineering services. And with that, I tried to keep it simple enough so that any firm would know exactly kind of what we're doing. We're going to really look hard at a firm that's had a lot of experience with that. And what I want to do is at least get this out on the street and get going with that process. And they will have to understand that, work will not begin until all of the grant funding is in place. So any final moves forward will be predicated on receiving the funding. I don't know if you all have the planning document in front of you, but I kind of wanted to bring everybody up to speed and kind of go through that, if that's okay with you, Tony.
Oh, we can't hear her.
You can't hear her?
Tell her she's on mute.
Tony,
I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Yes, I think it's a good idea, Steve, since it's been a little while that we've met, if you give us a little bit of an update on where we are.
Okay, well, on the childcare planning document there, and those of you that have been with us from the very start, I'm kind of a planning and checklist type of guy. So we've used this document ever since we started, and we all kind of agreed that this was our path forward. So I'm going to go through it again, just to bring those that haven't or not too familiar with it. I think you all are, but anyway, it's good to just get updated. On the phase one part of this, we've all kind of gone through all of this, and you'll see there's a number of check marks. So I think we've moved on from that, and the project concept was accomplished, and we have supported and demonstrated a need through surveys and community outreach. So we figured we did quite a bit there to move forward. So on phase two, we're building the team. We have a really good commitment from the OBPA Board of Directors. We have a committed partner with Lynn and ARC of Jefferson and St. Lawrence. As a partner, they have all the qualifications. And as we experienced on our tour of the Bright Beginnings facility in Watertown, they definitely have proven experience operating a child care development center in a first class and professional manner. And we understand, and from just talking with them, they have a number of programs that will meet the child care needs of the area. So we're more than happy to have ARC of Jefferson St. Lawrence as a partner. We have reached out through Lynn's suggestion to OCFS to have them participate in our planning of the facility and to provide advice in our process. So we're thankful. I don't know, is Brianne on? You know?
Hi, yes, I'm on.
Well, Brianna, yeah, we're really glad to have you as part of the team. And I'm just doing a little shout out of your interest and your the help that you can bring to us or advice also. So I'm glad you're on. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And I'm sorry, I wanted to be on with video, but I'm driving back from Binghamton. I just quickly, not to interrupt you, but I just want to say I'm happy to be on. I'm happy to be involved early in the process. Whatever support and guidance we can give, we would like to do that. And I just want to second that you have an excellent partner in Bright Beginnings. I think you've chosen well. So
that's
Thanks,
reassuring. Brianne, too, I have a preliminary floor plan. I know you asked about that. It's not set in stone, but it's a rough idea of kind of our guideline that we did very early. I had Lynn review it, and a lot of it met the needs. It's not precise yet, but I will have Karen send you a copy. But I just wanted to preface that it's just a very preliminary design, but it kind of I think after Lynn's review, we feel comfortable with the size that and what we're doing here. So I wanted to let you know about that, and Karen will send you that sometime tomorrow.
okay, great. I look forward to it. Thank you.
As part of our team too, our legal counsel is assisting us with the planning, and the last part of our team is selecting an engineering architecture firm, which that's what the point of the RFQ is. In phase 3, and I mentioned a little bit about that, but that was mainly the financing part of everything, and you'll see things that are crossed off, and when they are, that just means there's either new facts or new information that kind of overrides that. So that's kind of the reason for that. Anything you see in red is relatively new or information that I wanted you to know. So just to eliminate any confusion. And we get into all the grants, and there's a summary on the 3rd page of the current funding update. And that's kind of what I talked about in the beginning. Phase 3 really is the facility design, and I'll give you a quick update on what I'm thinking for a timeline. And with that, I'm always working backwards. We'd love to hit a September of 2025 date for completing the facility and opening because it matches the school year. That's not set in stone, but I think it's doable. So with that, that's what these dates are, and some of them really it's creeping up on us to where it's getting tight. So we need to tie up our financing part so that we can move forward with design. So on the facility design, the RFQ for consultant firms, we'll put it out in November or early December. We'll select a consultant in January. They'll prepare detailed construction budgets for February and March, and maybe come up with a preliminary design in March of 2024. In the meantime, we'll work on permits, third-party approvals, New York State licensing issues, and building permits, and have them all in place by April of 2024. And then hopefully have a final design by end of May of 2024. With that, then you would be ready to go out for construction, and that would be somewhere June, July of 2024. We'd advertise for bids May of 2024. Bids received late May or early June, and board approval in June. Maybe the contractor could break ground end of June or early July. We'd have construction administration inspection would be part of the firm that we'd select. Project progress meetings would be bi-weekly or as needed. And then we'd work through the winter and go through into spring and have a final punch list and a walkthrough in June of 2025, have as-built drawings in place. And then that would give us just a time of maybe a month and a half or 2 months to inspect and I don't know all the details there, but I'm just trying to leave some room that we can make sure everything's in place for a facility opening in September of 2025. Brianne or Lynn, can you comment on some of that scheduling on, how you see things, whether things are too tight or how they sound to either one of you?
It's Lynn, and that sounds, I mean, your timeline's great. I was thinking it was going to be a little bit sooner, but we can work with that. That's a lot of time. I think it's perfect. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to add, Steve. I think we have ample time, and now that we have Bree on board and her team, that takes a lot of this stuff out of the way once we kind of get it set up.
So Lynn and Brianne, now that you're on board, would some of the things that we need to do to have the facility up to speed and inspection, could we handle a lot of those as we go along so that in the end there's not a huge workload on making the facility operational?
Yeah, so from a licensing standpoint, before you even apply, which the application process, typically in a perfect world, it takes about 90 days, right? Sometimes we run into codes issues or staffing things can take a little longer, and sometimes it runs closer to 100, 120 days. But just having that in the back of your mind for when you actually apply, and Lynn, that'll be something that I'm assuming on your end will be taken care of. But our office, even if you don't have the application submitted, having us involved early on like this, we can consult a little bit on, when you bring codes in and do some of those things so that when you do apply, it's a very smooth process. So, there's no perfect order to do everything. Every case is a little bit different.
Okay.
Is the application still going to be the online one?
Yes, we're still using the FAMS system for the online application. So you can go on and request it, I think, 120 days before you plan to submit it. And then, planning on having the 90 days for it to be processed. So I anticipate, because of all the work that you will have done ahead, that it could go pretty smoothly. You just never know once in a while when those hiccups come in, but I would give yourself, 120 days to work on it and then 90 days for it to be processed by our office.
Yeah. When we did our building renovation, Bree, I worked with Annabelle on it, and it was relatively easy and seamless because, like you said, you have all those documents that either the architect or who the building project manager has readily available. So that stuff is easy. And then we have all of our policies and procedures and things like that. So.
Right. So you're coming into it from a programmatic standpoint. You already have a lot of it done. It might need a little tweaking or updating, right, for this new site. But you're not going to have that back and forth with the licensor trying to write policies and and procedures and things like that, you'll have that completed. So I would still give yourself 90 days just in case. And I mean, it wouldn't be the worst problem in the world if you were ready early. So.
Okay. Tony and Nicole, can you make some comments, or have you got some comments on kind of everything we just said right there?
No, I'm just really excited that we are moving forward. That last little bit of financing, I don't want that to be a hurdle to us. I know that we'll be able to, get that figured out. And super happy and excited to have OCFS as we design this space moving forward on board that can provide us insights. So we make sure we have adequate square footage and whatever else that we need, accessibility, windows, doors, and the places that they need to be, all of those things. So I think that we're being super proactive in that. And I like the idea of the bi-weekly meetings once we get moving, so that we can make sure that there are no stumbling blocks that need to be fixed as we get immediate feedback going forward. So I'm thrilled that we are able to provide this opportunity to families in the North Country to make work more accessible, and just to give them another option for childcare that's a safer, and that they can afford, and they still get some of that early learning that they really, really need before they're kind of kindergarten ready. So I'm super excited for that too.
Tony?
Hi, yes, I just want to echo what Nicole said. Thanks, Brianne. We're so glad that you're a part of the team. It's going to be really helpful and hopefully smooth sailing if we have, someone from OCFS to kind of help guide us through the project. I know about 2 years ago, we were hoping that the facility would be open and started. So to finally see things coming together and have, dates that seem a little bit more realistic is super exciting. The only question that I had, and maybe Lynn or Brianne, you can help answer this, is that we initially started the project with a community needs survey, and that was about 2.5 years ago that we did that. Brianne, I don't know if you'd seen the results of that. Lynn, I know we reviewed it, but it's been a while. Do you think that it would be beneficial to do another community needs survey just because it has been a while? Or do you think that, working with OCFS, I'm sure that you know kind of what the needs are in the county. Do you think that the original needs survey that we did is kind of reflective of what is still the need?
So, we're doing some services up there now through state ed, and we have health home case management. There is such a need in St. Lawrence County. We have wait list. Our school down here also has wait list. So, I mean, by all means, if you think you would want to do that for justification for grants or anything else, by all means, feel free to do it. I personally don't think it's necessary, only based off what we're experiencing firsthand. And if Bree has other advice, that's fine as well too.
So, yeah, no, I agree 100%, Lynn. So St. Lawrence County, all of our 14 counties in Syracuse region are still experiencing childcare shortages. And then certainly special education, early childhood services. So I can't imagine, if anything, that the need has increased since you did your survey, I would say. And, just hearing from programs in that area that have children in their care, first of all, they don't have the capability to take on all of the children that are in need of care. So we still definitely have that desert situation happening. And then on top of that, the need for special ed services, therapies, et cetera, that's certainly not being met, especially in St. Lawrence County. So while I don't believe I've seen the results of that community needs assessment that you're talking about, I have to imagine that, yes, it's still a big need in that area. And just based on what I'm hearing from the field right now, that's the case.
Brianne, we'll forward you that result. Karen will send you that tomorrow also of that survey.
Okay, thank you.
Great. I appreciate both of your responses. That was my suspicion as well, that it would still be relevant, but I just want to make sure that we're, providing a facility that offers services that the the people around Ogdensburg and surrounding areas, St. Lawrence County in general, might need. So it's good to hear that, what we're doing, we're still on the right track even after a few years. So appreciate that.
Tony, I've kind of said everything that I wanted to say as far as bringing everybody up to speed. And just for the future, what I think we'll advertise the RFQ, and probably I anticipate maybe a meeting. We'll have to kind of have a selection committee that we decide on, and we'll go through the submittals from engineering and architectural firms for from the RFQ. So that's kind of our next step, and we can talk back and forth about that. But depending on timing, it may be after the holidays before we get to look at that, just because so much is happening. But I'll take a look at the timeline, and I do have the RFQ ready to go, so that isn't going to be difficult. So that's kind of everything I wanted to talk about today. And yeah, the floor is yours, Tony, if there's anything else you or Nicole or Lynn or Brianne want to talk about.
One thing Steve, I can make myself available for anything that you need, because I do know that the timeline for Lynn, as far as staffing and programs, and to have the staff in place, is going to be really important to her once we get to that final, so even down to being done in the beginning of August can make a world of difference as far as having the staffing in place and having the spots ready to go for the beginning of a school year. So by all means, if there's anything I can do that helps kind of to move things along, I can make myself available.
Okay, thanks so much, Nicole.
I did just meet with SUNY Potsdam's new president today, and we talked a lot about the school setting up there, the daycare center. So she is on board, very excited. So that can be an ongoing conversation we have. They're doing a teacher assistant certification class, so that will be beneficial too as well, especially to kind of speak to the needs of some of the students that Bree mentioned that we're seeing in today's world.
Oh, good to know, Lynn. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Steve, the only thing that I will have to say is that just looking at the timeline and thinking about where we are, it does seem that we need to talk and work out with the committee, scheduling more regular meetings, probably starting in the beginning of 2024, even if they are meetings to just check in and touch base. So I'll get with the rest of the committee so we can figure out, how we resume our regularly scheduled meetings to just keep everybody up to date and the project moving forward.
Yeah, and I would agree, Tony. I think in my experience, the more attention you pay and update things, and with either weekly or monthly meetings, things tend to get done. So that I try to avoid putting anything off, but I think that's a good comment.
Does anyone else have anything to add? I don't really have anything else other than, thank everybody for coming. I'm so happy that this is still on everybody's mind, even though, like I said, the project originally started off, we were a little bit more ambitious than maybe we we were hoping for, as far as how the projects move forward. But I'm happy to know that, especially with the funding that we've secured, that this is definitely something that the community needs and that has a lot of support behind it. So I'm so excited to be a part of it. And I don't really have anything else unless someone else does.
We're good here. Yeah.
Thank you all so much.
All right,
Okay.
I guess if that's good, then we will end the meeting at 5:26 p.m. Thanks everyone for coming.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Good to see
Good
you.
night.
Well, good night.